The king of Rio, Charles de Bronx Oliveira, against all odds. Can you believe that in this fight, Charles was an underdog? I mean, the audacity and the lack of respect. Look, if there's anyone that you really want to see win when all is said and done, it's definitely Dustin Poirier. So I can appreciate that. I can accept that. But Charles Oliveira has now proven himself to be the top of the cream of the crop of the current 155 lightweight division. And that was an extremely impressive sequence of events. That was an extremely expressive fight by Charles Oliveira. And if there was any narratives that Charles does not handle adversity well, surely that's gone. I mean, we've got to be at the point where that narrative is now gone, because Charles Oliveira, apart from the technician that he is from a grappling and jiu-jitsu perspective specifically, is now adding a very unique highlight reel, and is evolving into one of the elite and most lethal finishing threats in the entire UFC. And his record speaks for itself. Now let's talk about the fight specifically. First round was effectively one-way traffic for Dustin Poirier. While Charles's stand-up has definitely improved, there is no doubt that the tighter boxer and the tighter striker is Dustin. And when Dustin hit Charles versus when Charles hit Dustin, there was an absolute difference in terms of the power differential, in terms of the damage that they were dealing, and the reactions from both fighters. I tell you what, Charles does not necessarily have the tightest guard, which from a technical perspective, can obviously be fixed. His striking is competent, and it's probably way above average, but it's not up there with the elite. And while he was, I think, moving forward, Charles is definitely going to establish respect with his striking, but it's his elite submission game that is really going to ring true. And like in the first round, I think this narrative of him not being able to fight out of adversity, it has to be thrown away now, because he got knocked down, if not twice, at least once. And Dustin Poirier, you wouldn't say picking him apart, but he was comfortably winning that aspect of the fight. Now, in the second round, we see the momentum shift. And there's a bit of controversy, and I'm not gonna get specifically into it, because at the time of this recording, there hasn't been clarity in terms of whether this was an illegal move. But apparently, potentially, Charles, in attempting the takedown for Dustin Poirier, that got them to the ground, that allowed Charles to get, God knows, 2 to 3 minutes, control, dominant, within the guard position and ground and pound. There might have been some illegal maneuvering there. Obviously, you might hear a bit of information about that, but let's just park that to the side. Assume that it A, was either unintentional, or B, did not occur. What ensued was, Charles being able to ride out, a close guard position relatively dominantly. Dustin is obviously a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Offensively, couldn't necessarily get anything out there. It's pretty hard. Comfortable round for Charles, 1-1 round apiece. And this is where we saw in the third round the ability for each particular round to play out as new rounds really work for Charles, and in an engagement, Charles was able to get the back of Dustin Poirier, and climb on his back and, attempt a rear naked choke, and it was all over. I think just the submission threat of Charles Oliveira is so great that individuals just are not willing. Dustin, not for lack of trying, he was fighting in the standing back take position, but Charles was able to sink it in, and an extremely impressive victory for Charles de Bronx Oliveira. And now he's really cooking with gas. You could tell at the end of that fight, when he got interviewed by Rogan, that he really did feel a bit disrespected, but you can't say anything but admiration for Charles de Bronx Oliveira, because he has now proved himself as the elite of the elite in the 155 division. And really, this sets up a tantalizing fight against Justin Gaethje.